Imagine a family so isolated that when all 6 of them were brutally murdered, nobody noticed for days. Imagine a crime scene so strange that even the investigators admitted they had no idea what they were looking at. And imagine a killer who didn't just slaughter a family, but calmly lived in their home after the murders. This is the case that still sends shivers through Germany more than a century later. This is Hinterkaifeck.
To understand what happened on that lonely farm, you have to understand the world around it. 1922 Bavaria wasn't exactly bustling. Most farmhouses were separated by long stretches of fields and forests. Neighbors weren't next door. They were an hour's walk away. The Gruber family lived in a place where silence wasn't unusual. It was normal. If a dog barked, you heard it. If a person screamed, well, that depended on the wind. And this isolation wasn't just physical. The family themselves were known for keeping to their own world, for being, let's say, difficult. But nothing could prepare anyone for what would happen next.
For months, the atmosphere in the house seemed to darken. Footsteps in the attic, keys disappearing, a sense of being watched. And remember, this wasn't a house with electricity or modern security. When the sun set, the entire place fell into darkness except for lanterns and candlelight. Imagine lying in bed at night, hearing soft movements above you, not knowing if it was an animal or a person quietly shifting their weight. Even the animals started acting strange. Neighbors noted the cows often seemed distressed in the weeks before the murders. Animals sense things. They always do. And maybe they sensed someone who shouldn't have been there.
The accepted theory is that the killer hid in the barn, waiting for each victim to enter. But what exactly happened? The brutal part isn't just the killing, it's the method. The blows suggest the killer was calm, controlled, and strong. There was no sign of a frantic struggle. The attacker swung with precision. The order of the victims also tells a chilling story. Some believe the killer targeted Andreas first, the father, the most dangerous adult, then Victoria, the daughter, then the mother, then the 7-year-old Cecilia, who, according to autopsy reports, may have survived for hours, possibly pulling out tufts of her own hair in shock. It's one of the most disturbing details of the case.
Let's add more depth here, because this is where things get incredibly creepy. Neighbors saw smoke coming from the chimney. That means the killer was still there, cooking food. The family's dog was fed. The cows were milked. Milk! Do you know how long it takes to milk cows? It means the killer wasn't just hiding, they were comfortable, relaxed, in control. There were even fresh footprints in the snow days later. Whoever did this didn't panic, didn't run, didn't try to hide. They stayed, like they belonged there. That detail alone has sparked over a century of theories.
When police finally examined the bodies, they noticed something odd. There was straw covering the victims in the barn, neatly placed. Careful, deliberate, almost respectful. But inside the house, something stranger appeared. A locked door that had been broken from the inside, suggesting someone had been trying to escape, but couldn't. Another clue? The family's valuables, money, and jewelry weren't touched. This wasn't robbery. This wasn't random. The killer came here for one thing: the family.
People in the village whispered about Andreas Gruber. They said he was violent, controlling, And the incest conviction wasn't just a rumor, it was documented. And Victoria? She wasn't just a victim. She may have been a key to the entire mystery. Some believe she was planning to leave the farm. Others say she wanted Lorenz Schlittenbauer to acknowledge her child. This might have put her at odds with her father. And tension in this family wasn't just emotional. It was explosive. Could the killer have known this? Could it have been someone close to them? Someone who understood the dynamics inside that house?
The crime scene quickly became a tourist attraction. No joke, dozens of villagers walked through the barn, touched the bodies, moved items, picked things up, and put them back down. Someone even cooked in the kitchen while investigators were working. That's how messy it was. An officer at the time admitted years later, if the murderer had still been there, he would have escaped without anyone noticing. Imagine a killer calmly walking out while half the village was inside the house.
Let's dig deeper into the attic theory, because it's the one that keeps people awake at night. There were multiple signs someone lived up there. Footsteps were heard repeatedly. A newspaper appeared from town the family never bought. Keys went missing. A strange shadowed figure was spotted at the edge of the forest. And here's the chilling detail added by investigators. Dust patterns in the attic suggested someone had been sleeping there. But there was no bedding, no belongings. So what does that mean? Someone was lying flat on the wooden boards, silently, maybe listening through cracks in the floorboards as the family moved around beneath them. Some experts believe the killer may have watched the family for days or weeks before acting, like a hunter studying prey.
There's another theory that adds an entirely new layer of horror. What if there was more than one killer? The precision of the killings, the fact that no one heard anything, the control of the animals, the cleanup. Some investigators have suggested it's too much work for one person. It might have been two people, or even a group, acting together. One leading them into the barn, another waiting, another cleaning the scene. The idea is terrifying because it would mean this wasn't a crime of passion. It was a coordinated execution.
The farm was demolished. The skulls were lost during wartime. The few remaining documents were incomplete. All that remains is a memorial stone, standing where the farm once stood, in the middle of empty land, surrounded by trees and silence. A perfect place for a mystery to hide forever.
The Hinterkaifeck murders aren't just unsolved, they're unsettling in a deeper way, because every theory leads to more questions. Was the killer someone the family knew? Someone already inside the house? Someone watching from the attic? A stranger passing through? A lover, a rival, a madman, a team? No one knows. No one ever will. And maybe that's the real horror of Hinterkaifeck, that sometimes the darkness we fear isn't out in the world, it's right above us, silent, still, waiting. And we only realize it when it's already too late.